Hi guys, Centaurian Mugpig here, and welcome along to Spacebase DF9. Or in this case, it's probably DF11, since this is the third time I've tried to get a space base up and running. But I'll be glad to say this is a bit more successful run, as I've already played this, and I was a bit of a wally, and I forgot to turn my microphone on while I was recording. Yay. So now you have the joy of me commenting back of how I played. Even more fun. So for this one, I decided that the starting location was no good. I wanted to be next to these juicy asteroids, which are those weird grey block looking things, which may not look like asteroids, but I'll show you they are. They are the stuff you need to create matter, which is that block thing you see there with 2000 number up top right. So currently I'm going to build a very quick and dirty space station. For that I'm going to stick an airlock in there, a room for generating oxygen, and a room for collecting the matter. So I've got 3 rooms. Once you've built the rooms, you need to set the roster to get your builders to go and do the work, otherwise they'll quite happily roam around until their oxygen run out. They're not very clever, you see. So, a bit of speed up there now I think's in order. So guys will start construction, and they might be silly enough to lock themselves in rooms as well, as the 2 guys in that room in bait suits probably would do if they don't get out of that yellow zone. But once a room is pretty much semi-complete, you can start assigning zones to them. So there I had to assign a zone for the airlock, a zone for the life support, and a zone for the refinery. And for the airlock, then you need nice 2 airlock doors to prevent your citizens from being sucked out into space. And you also need to stick in a spacesuits locker so that they can get changed in and out, not leaving the spacesuits all over the floor. And then the other rooms you can stick on doors as long as the walls have been built. Placement is pretty simple. You just select the object you want to place down, doors, generators, etc. You plot them down. As long as the grid's green, you're alright. You can also rotate them. Some objects need rotating, others don't really need to, like this generator, or other stuff like the refinery. Doors will rotate themselves anyway, so they're quite clever on doors, and doors will just fit in the right way around. The material refinery there, that's what you need to start mining and generating ore so we can start expanding our little base. And we definitely need this oxygen refinery being built, otherwise our little astronauts are going to have a short time in space. And there's a nice little space locker so they can get in and out. Once the oxygen starts, generator starts producing oxygen, you'll see the oxygen in the rooms counting up. There's also a little grid in the bottom right you can switch on to see the oxygen going in, and you also see the oxygen jaws actually start to pressurize as well with oxygen being in the room. Now your guests or your crew will enjoy having chats, and I think they seem to prioritise chatting over than other more essential needs such as creating a replicator to eat food. So I think these guys are more happy to sit there, chat and starve than they are to eat space paste, I suppose. Hey, but what the hey, you have limited control over these guys. All you can do is assign them orders through the roster, and you can't directly control them and tell them to do stuff elsewhere. They're pretty autonomous and can do whatever they choose to do, basically. So what I'm going to do now I've got a decent set of generators in there, I'm going to start producing some barracks so these guys can sleep in there, so they'll just have a nice few beds per in there. You don't actually need beds to cover the entire people in there, as they sort of work shifts anyway. They don't all sleep at the same time, which is handy. The other thing is it's just the construction time and waiting for builders to complete all set work. Again, it's just a case of dragging and dropping items down, making sure that's building enough floor area to support everything. Unfortunately, the camera angle gets annoying, so if you want to actually build a room, you'll want to zoom out before placing it down, as it won't let you do that otherwise. Now, unfortunately, it seems that Jerry had been infected by a parasite. Oh dear. And yeah, parasite burst out of him and is now attacking another one of my crew, Claudia Back, who I renamed. I shall see if I rename some of them. What you have to do in that case is set the roster to security and they'll come to the rescue. But unfortunately, Claudia died and her corpse will remain there for a while. But hey, the other crew don't mind. They like to sleep in dead crew's beds. I would say it's always worth having a guy set on security in this one, as they will slowly earn experience being a security guard. So it's probably worth always having security crew 24/7 unless needed elsewhere. Uh, like building something very quick. From time to time, you'll be interrupted by messages from people travelling by. Some of them are friendly, others tend to be friendly, others are not quite so friendly. However, depending on the options you get, you can actually stop them from coming over. Such as this guy who's just started piracy and doesn't quite get the acts of piracy. You obviously think that you have to invite them over. Very quirky, but useful. If you see a big red target cross hovering over your base at some point, then you need to watch out because it's going to be a meteor strike inbound, which the tooltips actually warn you about. And they actually cause a decent, well, they cause damage to the base, cause damage to the equipment, and they could possibly also rupture the hull and suck your denizens out there. One of the things I read on the patch notes is you can actually put down warning systems, which are very similar to the fire extinguishers at the minute. Fire extinguishers are very useful, otherwise our crew will just be stamping the fires out with their feet. But if you get an alert system, apparently you can click on it and get them to evacuate the room. Probably useful in the future when they probably beef up these meteor asteroids to ensure that maybe hull ruptures are going to occur more frequently, I'd expect. Because out this 2-hour playthrough I did, I had a few meteor asteroids, and luckily enough, I didn't get any serious hull breaches, I should say. Keep on watching to find out. So I've built another set of quarters, a couple of beds needed to be built, and I'm now going to stick a gym in here, just so my guys can keep fit and starve off the boredom. You can see it's got nice padded walls, each room's got a different texture once you assign it. Unfortunately at this point, all we've got is a few lift weight benches here. Well, just one weight bench to choose from. We can fit 2 in there, which will keep my crew happy, I suppose, or busy for the time being. Yeah, and other passengers, or new crew coming off, they're a bit crazy, some of them. But you can always accept or reject, depending on how many people can get in, and they all ferry in by shuttle. And it's always worth immediately checking out the roster, setting them, make sure that they've got work to do. And you always say definitely want to always have a technician in there maintaining the equipment, especially the oxygen generators, because if they go, you will be stuck. So at the start, you probably want a couple of technicians keeping an eye on these until one guy levels up to say around level 5 maybe 4, in that way. For this size base, you can quite happily keep it going, but as your base extends, you're going to want to get more technicians in there to keep your base running efficient. For each room, you can set in different objects. In the crew quarters, I'll put down a few TVs, keep them happy, hot pants, a storage unit for any clothes they might have, even though I've not seen them use it. Hopefully that'll keep morale up and running. And remember, you can only place down as many objects as that you've got matter available. From time to time you'll get derelicts appearing around your base, and when they do, if you want to investigate them, you'd have to go and assign a security team and drop a beacon down on the derelicts, and there's one of the derelicts appearing. It's quite far away in this case, so I'm not actually going to bother with it. If you do investigate derelicts, you might find there's people aboard of it, maybe even space aliens aboard, and then you might also find that it might be eventually in disrepair. If you go to it soon, then I think all the equipment might be up and running. If you leave it a bit, then depending on who's board of it, they might not be keeping the equipment up and running, so the oxygen might fail, and then whoever's on board of it would eventually pass on. It would probably make stuff a little easier for you to go and take over it, or when you've got later expand towards it. But the thing is, it's up to you if you want to do that or not. You're free to do it. Go and check it out, or to leave it behind. Next up on the agenda is to set up a bar, just so that your crew have somewhere to chill out, maybe socialise in, and so you can set yourself a nice little bar area. It needs to be fairly big because crew seem to sit at one table per person. So I figured I'd speed up this process in post-video editing. Actually, that's why the music sounds a bit funny. Got a few more crew coming on board, setting to building or mining, whatever it was, and now we can see our engineer starting to build the room. As you can imagine, it's a bit of a slow process, so if you wanted it built quickly, you need to set a good few engineers there, because they will only start working when they feel like it anyway. I think I should have had 3 engineers running, but only 2 were doing it because the other was asleep. But once the room's pretty much done, you've got a floor there, you can set it up as a pub, and start putting down all the necessities in there, such as a bar, a refrigerator and oven. Just be careful how you place it, because like I did there, I placed the refrigerator right next to the bar, and when the fridge got built, it cancelled the bar build because it was in the square area. So always make sure that you're careful in placement, avoid miss those things. Again, more meteor showers. Unfortunately, the bar still isn't finished though. It was quite weird that when this happened. But it's always useful to have plenty of fire extinguishers around, just so that the crew will use them instead of stomping on with their feet. Well, that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.